Welcome to the podcast that recently watched Ferrari and it's now scarred for life. I'm Dominic Clary. With me, as always, Tyler Bridges. Tyler, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Just inside saying from there. So
Have you had a good New Year so far?
I would say so. Everything's been going great. No complaints, except losing last night on our soccer game.
We got thrashed.
Yeah, it was,
These past 2 weeks, we got thrashed, man.
looked good at the beginning. After the first 10 minutes, it was just the poor.
Those guys were good. Those guys were good. Yeah, well, we have a good show for you today. We're going to
We
talk a
got a
little
great show. We got a
Great show. We're going to talk a little bit college football national championship talk, and then NFL playoff conversation. We'll also talk about the real contenders of the NBA. Me and Tyler have some heated conversations in the past, and we'll talk a little Neymar to MLS and what that could possibly mean. So that won't take up too much of the time, but we'll get into college football here to start. So Tyler, what have you made of the playoffs so far? We talked about every round except this last round. What did you think about? Honestly, it was the best semifinal weekend we ever had.
Yeah, it was amazing compared to the years before. Um, Obviously, I picked Ohio State to win the national championship. Still believe that they will win. I think the strongest team in the playoffs can run up Oregon. They blew Oregon out of the water. Honestly, like I said, that game against Tennessee kind of got the whole story of what it's going to be like to play Ohio State in this playoffs. I think Texas did a great job of shutting down Jeremiah Smith as best as they could, but coming down the stretch, Ohio State pulled through. And after watching Texas against Arizona State, I didn't have any concern or any fear that Ohio State was going to lose that game. And one thing I did see was Indiana's only two losses this year have been at Notre Dame and Ohio State, and both in the national championship. So I would like to apologize for my take before. Okay, maybe I
What
shouldn't
I
have been in,
tell you?
but it's pretty impressive that your only two losses on the season were against the two national championship contenders that were in the national championship. So my bad on that. I feel like I have to apologize for that. But Notre Dame truly showed in a really good game against Penn State. I thought Notre Dame was going to win it. James Franklin, when he plays an actual true good team, like Boise State's a good team, yeah, and like SMU's a good team, but when they finally came up against somebody like a Ohio State, like an Oregon, like one of those top teams, James Franklin always seems to lose. He never can find a way to win. He always loses, whatever. But it was a good win for Notre Dame. I congratulate them on getting to the national championship, but I don't really think they're gonna have enough to pull it off.
The conversation about Penn State not being able to win the big game could have ended finishing second in the country. All they had to do was beat Notre Dame, and they had the upper hand for majority of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and they dropped the ball. In Penn State fashion and James Franklin fashion, it's almost at a point that if you're Penn State, and there's some fans that are sick and tired of it, and other fans are like, hey, at least we're here. And I'm going to be real with you. This is a spot where Penn State's pretty normal being at. Other than 82 and 85, they've been second fiddle, especially when they've joined the Big Ten. When they joined, Michigan was better than them. Ohio State was better than them. Michigan State's been better than them. And Penn State had an opportunity to push that all aside and be like, all right, we're back to what we tell people we are. A national contender, a team to take seriously, but they continue to be the punchline. Notre Dame, on the other hand, I think they could beat Ohio State. I don't know why. I
They can.
hear people talk about this as if it's the same thing with like Texas. Texas, sure, I didn't really see it, but with Notre Dame, it's a good football team. They have a good quarterback. He's dynamic. Jeremiah Love, one of the best runs I've ever seen. I mean, at a goal line, right? I've seen better runs for a longer distance. But when you're talking about reaching for the goal line and 5 yards, a cloud of dust, and nothing but five, what was it, white, blue shirts in front of you, and he makes space by leveling guys. He is one of the best running backs that's going to be in the draft next year. So if you're not able to get the prizes of running back that's coming out of the draft at a good value for this year, next year, Jeremiah Love. But Ohio State, was it Jack Sawyer? Is that his name? Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, Sawyer.
One of the best defensive plays I've ever seen at the college level on that stage.
In that moment too, especially.
Yeah.
It didn't come in like the first quarter, second quarter. Didn't come against Michigan State in a normal Big Ten game. Like, this is the college football semifinals. This is, 4th and goal. They have to score, and he stepped up and he did it. And honestly, this is Marcus Freeman's been one of the best coaches in the nation to me. I saw a thing that Notre Dame didn't have a lot of people transfer in, but they've really developed them throughout their program, and now they're here at this stage. And we'll get a nice rematch from last year when Ohio State barely beat Notre Dame last year in Notre Dame. So it'll be really good. But when you look at Ohio State, it's you beat the SEC runner-up, you beat the Big Ten you beat the Big Ten champ, and then you beat a very talented SEC team in Tennessee. And then you look at the route Notre Dame went on, beat, to me, obviously a good Indiana team, Then they beat the SEC champions in Georgia, which is huge. I know they didn't have Carson Beck, but that was the one thing that worried me after watching that game was Notre Dame only put up 9 points. If you take away the kick return from halftime to open up the second half, which is unlikely, and then Georgia's backup threw that pick, and that set them up pretty much on in the red zone to go capitalize and go score. Other than that, they had an issue moving the ball down the field and getting in the end zone. And that kind of scared me against Penn State just a little bit. But James Franklin, to me, is the Mike Tomlin of college football.
No.
They always have good seasons. They will always be solid. Yes, they will always have good seasons. They will always be solid.
Mike Tomlin's been to 2 Super Bowls.
When was the last time he got a playoff win?
2016.
Yeah, a while. And when was the last time?
That's a different conversation. That's no. It's if anything, you're too near-minded. He was a coach for the Bengals for 100 years and didn't do anything with it.
I know exactly what he looks like. I don't remember his name though, but I do know that Mike Tomlin will always have a winning record. He'll always make the playoffs. Marvin Lewis, and then he won't do anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, Marvin Lewis.
When
he's literally Big Marvin Lewis.
That really good team before. I wouldn't say it. I would compare James Franklin more than Mike Tomlin.
Okay, Marvin Lewis won the division or got into the playoffs all the time. And they lost in the first round every year. He coached that team for 15 years. They went to the playoffs, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years?
Yeah,
and they never won a single game in the playoffs.
Okay, the Steelers
won one Super Bowl, and they were a quarter away from winning another. It's a horrible example, Tyler. I love you. Bad example.
But Mike Tomlin's 0-8 or 0-9 in his last whatever playoff games that he's been in. He can't win the playoff games. When the moment comes,
but he's won for 2 in Super Bowls.
Yes, he's won the Super Bowls. Yes,
and he's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to 3 or 4 AFC Championship games. It's not even comparable.
Somewhat. It's not showing up against the big teams in the playoffs when it matters. At least James Franklin got some wins. James Franklin could have these amazing seasons with Penn State like he usually does, where Penn State's been solid and been good since Saquon, but a little bit before Saquon, maybe since he kind of took over. Not the first year, but it's kind of when I look at James Franklin, I look at Mike Tomlin, choking when the time matters.
You know what I think about your take?
Since 2010, 2012, that's kind of what I envision.
You know what I think about Mike your
Tomlin
take?
As. Horrible. Oh, okay, yeah. It's whatever.
You get the Minecraft oof sound. It's a bad take.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't know. James Franklin just can't get it done. And if you can't get it done, you could have all these amazing seasons, but if you can't win a Big Ten championship, if you can't win a national championship, how much longer can you keep the guy there? If you can't beat Ohio State in the regular season, how long can you keep him there for?
What, Franklin? Hey,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to get rid of him. Joe Pa had he had 3 great seasons, and he coached for 400 years.
Well,
It's what they do. It's they don't. Penn State doesn't really fire coaches, and they had God, who was their coach? He coached for the Texans. What O'Brien or something like that. He was the coach for a
Bill
year.
O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien, thank you. He was the coach for a year, but he got a better job, so he left, and then Franklin took over. They're not going to get rid of Franklin. He has them as a top team in the Big Ten. They're almost guaranteed to go in the playoffs every single year, pretty much.
And then obviously after Ohio State making this run and potentially could be winning a national championship, you can't fire Ryan Day now. But
No.
let's say he loses in the national championship, that he doesn't, but let's say he does. And then let's say he loses to Michigan next year and he still can't beat Michigan. Do you keep him? Do you not?
Yeah, who cares? I hate this. I hate this argument of I understand you want to beat your rival. He's in the national effing championship.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? God forbid he loses one game a year. He's one of the best records in college football right now as a head coach. He has one of the best win-loss ratio out of majority coaches that they're coaching right now. You can't fire that guy. And yeah, he loses to Michigan. I get you want to be angry about that, but that game, and I understand it's the game. Yeah, it's not even the best rivalry in college football, but nah, it's not.
What's better?
I'll literally name you like 5 more that are more entertaining.
No, Ohio State Michigan is always going to be the best rivalry in college football.
Yeah,
it's literally the game.
It shouldn't be called the game.
It's the most important game of the season.
Yeah,
for each of those teams.
Do the fans throw pennies at people during the game?
Those games get rowdy.
Yeah, but they're not throwing
Fight
quarters
breaks
at
out
people
all the time. It's heated.
Yeah, do you hear cowbells? No.
Are you referring to Mississippi State with those cowbells?
There I was. I was just gonna start mentioning weird traditions teams do until you just started to get mad at me, but you picked up on it early.
No,
you didn't realize the quarter thing. I was referencing West Virginia.
No, I just know it's yellow, blue, checkered throughout the stadium, and they sing "Country Roads Take Me Home."
Yeah, and they throw quarters at people.
That's fun.
And they burn couches. I hate West Virginia, man. It's
of course.
Listen, I just think that trophy of a national title is more important than saying you beat the team up north. I just don't think it's comparable. And let's say they're driving, right? Let's say they go to run the ball to center it to kick a game-winning field goal, and Judkins fumbles and they lose, right? Let's just say that. You'll fire him over that, and they lose to Michigan next year. You'll fire him over that. Sometimes we have to be like, oh, did the coach put his team in position to win? If you can say yes in a game like a national title game, right? It's different if they're losing all 12 games. Like if you're Kenny Burns, it's like, oh, you're putting your team in the position to win, but you're losing all 12 games or 14 games. It don't matter. But with the national championship game, my boy, national championship.
No, not your boy. You don't want to be boys with him.
Man, they're gonna be a 2-win program next year. So
yes, finally a win, maybe against the MAC school with him for the first time.
He hasn't beat a MAC school, has he?
No, he doesn't have an actual, in my eyes, an actual win. His win was the FBS school.
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
and they lost this year to St. Francis.
Lost this year. Yeah. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Not even Akron was losing to them.
No, at least Akron can win a MAC game or two, but they usually don't.
Akron, not a bad program.
I know
Getting
you love.
better.
I know you love your Zips.
I don't know why. I have a weird obsession with the Zips, man.
Well, I went to
Uh,
Kent, so obviously I go Flash as
can't read,
always.
can't
But
write, can't remember
Penn
last
State,
night. So it's just I don't get the conversation. That's just me. I don't know. It's just I think the firing Ryan Day is stupid because like who are you going to replace him with?
thanks.
And I've seen things where it's like, well, Kurt
Could it
Signetti. Get out of here.
could it be
Signetti's a
Brian
great
Hartline, the
coach.
wide receivers coach?
Let's fire a coach that's gotten you a field goal away from a national title game and brought you to a national title game for a wide receiver coach. Bite me.
Brian Hartline is incredible, though. You have to see
I don't
the
care.
talent he has produced is unbelievable on the NFL level.
That he produced? Was
Yeah,
he birthing these guys?
No, he's not birthing them, but he's the wide receivers coach. He works with them and develops them. And there's a huge list. Like Ohio State and LSU are neck and neck for producing the best in the game on the NFL level.
Okay. It's so. Let's talk about this game coming up. Let's give a prediction here. I think we've talked enough about Ohio State. Tyler, who do you have winning this national title game? Ohio State by a lot, or
no? I don't think it's going to be a blowout because Notre Dame has a good defense, and now Notre Dame can watch what Texas did against Jeremiah Smith, and they can kind of copy that. But I think Ohio State's just better overall. I'm going to take Ohio State to win, not a blowout like they did against like Oregon and Tennessee, but I would say somewhat of a closer game, kind of like against Texas.
Okay.
It's not going to. I don't think it's going to come down to a field goal or like a game-winning drive by Ohio State, but I do think Ohio State could like win by like just 10 points comfortably in a way. Where it's like Notre Dame's trying to catch back up and trying to keep it a close game. I think Ohio State's just going to keep that lead and dominate the whole game. What about you?
Give me the Catholics, baby.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess both these teams, like the state I live in, or kind of like a team that I've always endeared to my heart. Not a Notre Dame fan, but Pitt's rivals with Notre Dame, and it's not like a rivalry where it's like West Virginia or Penn State or Cincinnati or who know Syracuse. Where you kind of, or I guess Syracuse isn't really a rival, but it's like, oh, we hate the team, we hate the town, we hate everything about them. It's more of how do you do, good sir? It's a pleasure of playing you on this fine evening of football. Oh, the results could be surprising. Like it's very uppity, smart institution type rivalry.
Harvard versus Yale. Yeah.
Yes, but no. But it's like well, we're good at engineering. Well, we go to church. What's the meme? Well, my daddy has a BMW. It's kind of
well, mine owns a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, thank you. You get the meme. I thought I was alone there for a minute.
No.
But it's that's how I kind of feel about Notre Dame. It's kind of like Pitt goes there, you wearing all your gear, and like these Notre Dame fans are handing you beer, and they're like, "Oh, thank you for coming here." I'm like, I'm so happy right now. The stadium's full. These Catholics are nice, man. They're giving me beer. There's Jesus right there signaling touchdown. I mean, come on, who doesn't love that? And then your team loses 40-7. So I don't know. Yeah, and also like I love covering Notre Dame. I love Notre Dame fans, even as like an unbiased, like when I'm unbiased reporter at games. I did a video last year. You can go on the same YouTube page you're watching this on, or the same title of the podcast you're watching on. Just going across the sports world, they'll pop right up. It's the same logo as the podcast feed. Boom, it's right there. You're ready to go already. You can just scroll down. You can watch the Notre Dame cross the tailgate.
Speed round. We gotta go.
There's a child on a scooter. We're running out of time. That was Penn State. That was our second Penn State. Technically, it was our third Penn State one, but the one will never see the light of day because we didn't record anything. Our lovely camera person, who I love dearly, who may or may not be my girlfriend, Didn't click the record button. So we
That
did
must
lose
have been a
it.
fun car ride home.
No, we didn't find out until we got back.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, what sucked was that the content was great. Like we could have gone viral kind of content, So it sucks. But it was Penn State, Ohio State, and I was wearing Ohio State stuff, and I
Oh,
was getting
jeez.
abused, man. I
Yeah.
was getting abused. I was wearing my Eddie George Ohio State jersey, and it was bad. It
Yeah,
was
those Penn
bad.
State fans are something
I
else.
I've gotten called things that I've never thought I would hear in public. I'm not even joking with you. Like I'm
No,
not going to repeat
that's
them.
usually
Like
how it goes.
horrible. I've been an away fan, like Notre Dame. Been an away fan when I was younger. Beautiful people, but I've been an away fan here in Cleveland, and I've been treated insanely good. I've even been an away fan in Pittsburgh, and I've been treated fine, right? But I'll tell you what, Penn State, mean people when you're not wearing blue and white. No, we weren't blue and white. They're sweet,
Or
man.
or down south. You go to Bama, you go to Georgia, Tennessee, any of those places.
Yeah.
You're an away fan down there. That's rough.
I will say there was a guy that was just handing me beer. He was cool. And I met a priest.
Priests are allowed to go to NFL college football games.
Why would they be?
I don't know. I think they're restricted on what they're allowed to do or not to do.
Oh no, dude, priests love football.
Oh.
Every priest I've ever known is a big football fan.
I wonder if priests bet.
If
like
what?
bet on sports. If they bet on sports.
Oh no, that has to be immoral, right? They can't do that.
They're not supposed to, but I guarantee they do because they like to do other things.
I had a priest that would end every Sunday mass with God bless the Steelers. It's like God bless the Steelers. It's like, all right, Father Jeff.
No, like you're in church down in Georgia on Sunday or like whatever. And he's wrapping up. He goes go dogs, and the whole church
go dogs,
and the whole church just starts to go stick 'em. At the end of literally. Or
what we were doing in the car ride, when we were waiting to see if your bet would hit. Back from Detroit. Yeah, I know.
All four of them hit that day. I went 4 for 4.
Yeah. Well, are you going to have bets for us today?
I was looking at some things. I got some solid ones lined up that I think I'm going to take this weekend. Last wild card weekend, I went 5 for 1 on
before we continue this conversation.
Yeah, say it.
You have to be 21 or older to bet. If you're in a legal gambling state, please be responsible.
There are bookies.
No, not while I'm doing this, please. That's so poorly timed. But if you have a gambling problem, please reach out to your state's gambling hotline. All right, go ahead.
All right, so you want to get a wild card weekend?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. So like last weekend, the only game I miscorrectly picked was the Buccaneers game. I did not think the Commanders were going to go in there and win. I thought Baker had it. I had faith, but I was wrong. But other than that, I picked Rams straight up money line, Houston to cover the spread of 3, thinking they were just going to win. Buffalo to cover the spread, Ravens to cover the spread, Eagles to cover the spread. La 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 la. Now we're here. Now these games are the hard ones to predict because you're going to pick the Steelers who were playing who lost what? 4 or 5 straight in a row.
4 in a row, yeah.
4 in a row to end the season. You think they're going to go into Baltimore and keep up with that offense the way that... And they could only put up, 16 points against the Bengals defense? No. See, that stuff's, easy to predict. But I did do a little research. I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, but I'm going to take them on the spread. I'm going to take the Lions to cover the spread, and then I'm not actually touching the Bills-Ravens game.
What's the spread?
For the Ravens game, or what game?
Start from the beginning.
Okay. Well, the first team that's playing is the Chiefs game against the Texans. Chiefs are favored by 8. And Texas does have a good defense. I think that they can keep this game close. I do obviously think the Chiefs are going to win, but I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover the spread. I think when Houston played the Chargers, I think it was more Houston's defense -8. Yeah,
Wow,
-8.
what a great production staff we have. Jeez, get it
Yeah,
together.
get it together. Fire the intern.
Dude,
Okay,
fire the intern. I mean,
fire the intern.
is it
Okay, but
showing? Okay, there we
yeah,
go.
there it is. Yeah, Chiefs -8. Um, I saw something like Mahomes with like the spread and at home with a certain thing. I'd have to look more into the research, but I'm going to take the Chiefs spread. I'm going to take the Lions to cover the spread against the Commanders. Think the Lions are too good. The Lions 9.5 right now on ESPN bet, so I'm going to take that. If I were to pick that in that game, I think the Lions are just too good. Rams and Eagles. I was very tempted to take the Rams plus 6.5, but I don't think I am. I honestly don't think I'm going to touch that game at all. But if I had to pick somebody to win, that game's just too big of a toss up for me. I don't want to touch it. So I don't have anything for that game. And then obviously the biggest game is Ravens Bills Sunday Night Football. I'm going to take the Bills to win that game. The Bills are actually underdogs in that game at home. Well, the Buffalo money line's even, so it's basically just straight up. But on FanDuel, they're like plus 100, whatever. I take the Bills. Bills are home. It's basically MVP candidate versus MVP candidate. Who do you think's going to be MVP, Dom? Lamar or Josh Allen?
Whoever wins this game.
You think?
I know it's a regular season award, but you're telling me it's not going to sway voters, you know? Like,
Exactly.
it's yeah. I think that if I was a voter, it'd probably come up to. I mean, I actually think their votes already casted, aren't they?
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I
Personally, I'm
I
going to
think
pick. Personally, I think Lamar's stats are better this year, but I definitely think Josh Allen carried this Bills team.
so. I would go with Allen just because of the idea that Allen's my MVP because he cleaned his game up. He's playing more efficiently in playing dominant football like we know him to play.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, two-time MVP, phenomenal year. He's just getting better year after year. I mean, by golly, that guy feels unstoppable. But Josh Allen, he's just got efficient with the ball. I mean, I wasn't a big Josh Allen guy because you can't take care of the ball. You're not going to win in playoff games. He's taking care of the ball. I generally think that this Bills team can go to the Super Bowl and win it, but they have to beat the Ravens. But I think that Allen is my MVP just because he didn't add anything special. He's just playing more effective football now, and it's hard not to vote or get behind a guy that's just able to kind of clean his game up.
Yeah, well, Josh Allen pops Zins, so he's my MVP. I really don't have a reason to go either or. If you're going to look at like statistics and all that kind of stuff, then Lamar's your MVP. But if you're going to like look at actual like gameplay type stuff, then I feel like Josh Allen would be more that way. But when you look at the Chiefs Texans game, Dom, we could start there. You're going to tell me that the Texans who have Nico Collins, Diggs is hurt, Tank Dell's hurt. You got Mixon, you got Schultz, you got a good defense. You're telling me that Houston Texans are going to walk into Arrowhead and beat Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid and the Chiefs at home in a playoff game? No, it's not happening. I can't see any way that that's going to happen. Mahomes hasn't played in an NFL game since he played the Steelers on Christmas. He's had that much rest. So now you have basically a week one fully healthy Patrick Mahomes and a bunch of guys that are basically fully healthy. You got Pacheco back who's healthy. Kareem Hunt is still a good part of that offense. You got Hopkins playing. You got Hollywood Brown back. Xavier Worthy playing good. Kelsey's still Kelsey. And that defense is so underrated. I can't see any way that the Texans win this game. I can't see any way that the Commanders win this game. Jane Daniels is going to have to whip 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and their defense to play phenomenal against the Lions. But I can't see any way that the Commanders defense is going to slow down this Lions offense. And that's my thing. Especially in Ford Field, how packed it's going to be in there. That playoff atmosphere is going to be way tougher than going to Tampa and playing Baker Mayfield. I love Baker and I love that team because, Baker got treated poorly by the Browns, but it's going to be harder for the Commanders. When you look at the Rams-Eagles game, did you think the Rams were going to blow out the Vikings the way they did?
I thought that was more of a possibility than the Vikings blowing out the Rams.
Okay.
The Rams at the beginning of the year, we saw an injured team that
They were like
don't know
1-3,
if they're going to be healthy.
1-4.
Yeah, they were struggling. You knew if that team was getting healthy that they could make a run. And that's what
Yeah,
we're seeing.
they finished the year 9-3. Like they were hot. Like they were, and to go on a neutral field too, not playing at home. And honestly, I felt like everything going on with LA, like I pray for everybody that's going through it and suffering out there, but I definitely think that was more of like well, I don't know what the right word is for it. Maybe like more motivation, more, I don't know. Like it kind of just felt like the Rams were going to win that game,
I know
especially with
what you
everything
mean.
going on.
It's the same thing with the
Heartfelt.
Yankees after 9/11, the Red Sox after the Boston bombings. Teams that suffer from disasters tend to boost their play somehow. Not all the time, right? There's the Marshall football team in the 70s where they like won one game in like 2 years, right? But I mean that's different because their entire team died in a plane crash. But like it's did you know about that?
No, I didn't. That's
You never
actually
heard about that
crazy.
before?
No.
There's a movie about it. It's called We Are Marshall. It's with
Oh, yeah. I'll have to watch
yeah,
that then.
it's with a famous actor.
There's a bunch.
He's a huge Texas fan.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, he's the coach in it.
Oh shit!
Good.
Really?
Yeah, and they Bobby Bowden, not the actual Bobby Bowden, but the a guy playing Bobby Bowden. Like he's in there. Pretty sad movie. Jonathan Mackie is in it.
You know, Dom, I feel like you know all the best sports movies, like all the good ones. Like every single podcast that we've been on, you've mentioned at least one sports movie reference, and they're all like good old
Should
oldie type
I
movies.
do that after that? The end of each episode, I give a sports movie recommendation.
Yeah, you could do that. So We Are
Right.
Marshall's the one for today, and then the last one was about the Pittsburgh team that played in the dome and with
With the fish stole Pittsburgh.
fish. Yeah, the fish one. But I think the Eagles. I wasn't really crazy impressed with the Eagles when they played the Packers. I was really impressed with the Rams and how their defense looked and how they looked. I think if you're looking at everything, you would be like, all right, I'm going to pick Philly, but I'm not going to bet on it. But I'm going to say I think the Rams are going to continue this mode. I think the Rams are going to continue. I think they're going to win this game, and then I think we're going to get the would the Lions play the Rams then, and it's another Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff matchup. I could definitely see that being a thing, and then I'm going to take the Bills. I know the Ravens blew out the Bills earlier this year, like 35-10. Bills are not going to be embarrassed again by the Ravens. They're not going to let that happen at home. So I personally just think just because the Bills are at home and the way they've been playing, I'll take the Bills to win this game.
I'm with you with the Bills there. I think the Bills win this, but I think it's gonna be close. I think we're into a classic game. I think this is gonna be a phenomenal game, and I'm excited to watch it. But I'm with you on the Bills.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think personally, if you got the Bills as underdogs at home, like
Oh, we don't
home
want
team in the
that.
playoffs, why not?
We don't want to. No free advertisements here.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I just like the Bills a little bit better, especially at home.
You don't hear that, do you?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my NFL wildcard weekend take. I definitely think we'll be seeing the Lions in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. That's my prediction. Oh God, is this the fish thing?
I don't know what scene this is. Can you hear this? Do you hear this?
Yes.
It's so loud. The entire team quit, so they had tryouts.
Jesus.
Wait. Said Sean Bedford.
What the heck?
Ah.
This is Jack Hammer Watson. Mrs. W's boss baby son.
All right.
What? Oh my God.
Wait, I'm trying. I'm. We'll keep going on about the show, but I'm trying to find the when they go flying down in the Civic Center. Oh, what a great movie! It's like 3 hours long. It feels. The movie feels like it takes a 2 years. Dude, there's like no videos of this day. Like that was like the only clip that I could see.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, I found the script of the movie.
Okay, we're not gonna read off the whole script
All
as
right,
much as I know you like to. All right,
I would
what
love to. All right, let's talk about some NBA. Or do you want to continue on NFL?
I want you to say your one like underdog dark horse, so you think that can make a run, either on the AFC or NFC side.
The Rams. I
I
think
got
the
the
Rams
Rams
can.
too.
I think the Rams can win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I got the Rams as my dark horse too.
I
So,
think the Texans are duck soup.
mm-hmm. glad we agree. But yeah, we both got the Rams as little dark horses going in. All right, let's talk about NBA.
All right, so you texted me and you wanted to talk about this specifically. So let's get into this topic. Who are the real NBA contenders? Let's start with the East. Here, let me bring up the ratings or the rankings here real quick. But
Mm-hmm.
it's been an interesting year. Cleveland's number one. You have, excuse me,
Playing
Boston
the
2.
Thunder tonight, right?
Yeah,
The
that's gonna be a
Cavs.
big game. Possible sneak peek into what are these ESPN things? My golly. They have like those ads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
These look phallic. I just don't want to look at that. All right, let's switch this over. So let's start with the East. We don't want the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Let's start with the East here. Cleveland, Boston, Milwaukee, Orlando, Indiana. Then after that, look at the Pistons, man. Good for them. Detroit, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago. Philly out of the picture completely. They are a disaster.
Philly's horrible.
Brooklyn's rebuilding. They got a bunch of picks from Mikal Bridges and the Knicks. Toronto, though RJ Barrett's playing good, this team just not enough juice on it. Charlotte is an embarrassment to the game. Washington, though I do like a few things on their roster.
No, I don't like anything.
No, there's one guy I like. Sadiq Bey, that's my goat. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon isn't that bad. Like, he should be playing there.
Johnny Davis from Wisconsin.
This kid here from Pitt, he's averaging 8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. A good rookie, decent rookie. I think he's gonna be okay. This team stinks. My golly.
Yeah,
Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. Yeah, this team stinks. All right, let's talk about who the real contenders of the East are. Tyler, you go ahead.
Well, obviously, I'm gonna have to say the Cavs. Boston, New York, and honestly, Indiana.
Wait, did you name Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland, Boston, New York, and Indiana. I don't think the Bucks have it this year. I think Giannis needs to leave the Bucks. I just don't think. I think they're just going to get too hurt down the line. I know Milwaukee's good and you can't count out Giannis, but I just can't see them getting through the East, to be honest with you. And I've seen the Pacers play good against like good teams. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year against Boston. They didn't look horrible. If Tyrese, they just have a good squad and they have good depth, and that's something Milwaukee just doesn't have. I don't really think that they're going to come out and win the East, but I definitely think that they could do something, and they are someone to be scared of. You can never count out Atlanta in my eyes. You can never count out Trae Young. He's averaging the most assists in the league. He's, in my eyes, one of the best point guards this year. And he will always be a threat to whoever he plays in the playoffs. I don't think that they're going to make it out, but it's always a threat. But the true the true championship contenders in my eyes, I would rank these three teams, and you could rank them after. I have Boston at 1, I have Cleveland at 2, and I have New York at 3. You could interchange New York and Cleveland, and I was really
I
tempted
agree.
to.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So here's my take. New York is firmly the number 2 if Mitchell Robinson comes back and plays and he's healthy for the remainder of the year.
Unless New York gets a good healthy center, because you're like this roster of Brunson, Josh Hart, OG,
Bridges.
Oh yeah, Bridges, Karl Anthony Towns, and Deuce coming off the bench, right?
Mhm.
And then who? Oh, God, there was another bench player I'm missing.
Campaign. Shamet.
Yeah. So
not a very good bench.
It's not a strong bench, but you saw Tom Thibodeau last year with New York. He brought 2 guys off the bench, only 2.
Precious is decent.
Precious Achua, yeah. But he only brings like 2 guys off the bench in the playoffs. He basically plays Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart the whole time. And then Mikal and OG, they can go in and out. But that team is just so good defensively, and you have all these guys that have, Brunson's your main scorer. Karl Anthony Towns could take over game 2 if he wants to. Josh Hart's your all-around dagger knife guy. Mikal Bridges can put up points. He's got great defense. OG could put up points. He's got great defense. That to me is like the best defensive team that you're going to see, which makes them a good playoff team.
So one thing I'm looking at here, correct me if I'm wrong, Tyler Bridges. Right now, I think that New York and Boston are in a good spot to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and here's why I think that. So Cleveland would face the 8th seed, right? Which again,
dangerous being Atlanta.
Well, that's if Atlanta
Trae
makes it
owns
out.
the Cavs, because the Cavs have 5 losses. 2 of them are handed to them by Trae Young and the Hawks.
Okay, so Atlanta, as of now, but it very could well be Miami. It very could well be Chicago. Atlanta. By the way, Chicago needs to do something. They've been this 10th seed for the past 4 years. I mean, Jesus criminy, dude.
I'm telling you right now, if the Cavs get Atlanta, I would be scared, because Atlanta will take them to 6 or 7 for sure, and they could win that series, because every single time they play Trae, it's not been good. It's not been good.
So, okay, so Cavs versus Hawks, Boston, Detroit, New York, Indiana, Orlando, Milwaukee. Okay.
New York, Indiana is going to be a really good matchup.
That'd be a great series. So, second round, let's assume all the top seeds win. Cleveland, Boston, New York, Milwaukee. Okay. So, and that's not saying that the Orlando can't win, the Pacers can't win, Detroit can't win it. But I mean, let's just say Pacers, Magic,
Franz Wagner's out and Paolo Banchero's out. I don't really think Orlando can sustain what they're doing right now.
Maybe not. With them out. But let's just say they beat the Bucks. Let's just say they lose to the Bucks. They can beat the Bucks, but right now we're saying all the top 4 seeds win, right?
Yes.
So that would mean that Cleveland would face Milwaukee, correct?
Yeah, which is a really good matchup.
Oh wait,
because,
Cleveland. No, Cleveland would it be? Is it they play the winner of the 4-5?
1-4-2-3. Yeah, 1-4-2-5. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Well, never mind. Now I don't like this path for New York. I mean, I originally I confused myself there.
New York's tough, because if they have to play Indiana the first round and then Boston probably in the second round, that's gonna just be so tough.
That's gonna brutalize them, man.
Yeah, but even for the Cavs, like the worst team that the team that you don't want to play the most would be the Hawks, in my opinion. You already lost to them twice this year, and then you beat them. Then you have to play Giannis, who I would think Mobley and Allen could handle Giannis, but no one could truly stop him. But here's my thing. Who's going to guard Dame? Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell? No. They can't guard Dame. Dame's going to cook them. But then that's kind of like on the other side of the ball is Giannis will handle Mobley just fine, so he's kind of out. And then the Cavs have a pretty good offense compared to the Bucks. Anybody on the team could score, and they have much more bench depth. Plus, I don't trust Doc Rivers in the playoffs. So then Cleveland gets the banged up either Boston or New York team. So right now, the Cavs have the best path compared to Boston or New York.
The East is a toss-up, man, because I can even see Orlando or the Pacers causing some damage. It should be a fun playoff.
Yeah, I just think if you're Cleveland, you don't want to see Boston, or New York. Like if you're gonna have to see Boston or New York probably eventually, but I'd rather see New York than Boston.
I agree. I
Just
agree with that.
because, but on the other hand, it's New York's just so good defensively, but so are we. We
Well,
struggle against New York.
They haven't been this year. New York's been more of an offensive force.
Yeah, but obviously, you would play anybody but Boston. I just think if Boston plays Cleveland, there you go. I'm going to take Boston though. I trust them more.
All right, let's talk about the West, and then we'll do our little Neymar discussion, and then I have a surprise for you, and we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
All right, so we have OKC at the 1 seed. Oh my God, I just have not been watching a large amount of Houston. The hell did they come from?
Yeah.
Memphis. Oh my God, what is happening? I need my eyes cleaned. Denver, LA, the Clippers, and then the Lakes, the Mavericks. What are we doing over here?
Well,
7th
Luka
seed.
Doncic and Kyrie's been hurt for a bit.
Minnesota at the 8. Wow, they're really getting hit hard with missing Cat. Sacramento at the 9. They fired their coach, and then Golden State. Phoenix is a mess. San Diego. San Antonio, you're supposed to take a step up. Portland, you suck. Utah, you suck. What the hell's happening in New Orleans?
Zion's fat and he can't play basketball and he keeps getting hurt. Plus, their team's been hurt forever. Like, they just got DeJounte Murray back, Zion back, and McCollum back. They just got everybody back. It's not like a horrible team.
Pretty bad.
Could be worse, I guess.
Yeah, this team stinks. I wasn't expecting Brandon Ingram's out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering where he was on the roster. I was surprised by that. But hey, maybe they get a 1 seed again, and then or they get a number 1 pick again and ruin my week. All right. So who do you have as contenders for the West?
OKC, the Lakers, Golden State, and Dallas.
Wow. Dallas
made it there last year. They only improved by getting Klay Thompson. You look at that team, Kyrie, Luka Doncic, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, and then you got Lively and Gafford, who are both amazing. That team's going to be hard to beat. The only reason why Dallas is there is just because they haven't been healthy, with Luka being hurt and Kyrie being a little banged up. Minnesota is worse. They took a step down by getting Julius Randle. That was a horrible decision.
I don't know why they did that.
I can't see them doing anything. Sacramento, in my eyes, is not a contender. And to me, if Curry's going to play the way I expect him to play in the playoffs, and he still has Draymond and Steve Kerr and all that, I could definitely see the Warriors still doing something. And to me, the Lakers, if LeBron's going to be playing heavy minutes, AD's been having a spectacular season. Dalton Connect's coming into his own. They got Dorian Finney-Smith, Austin Reeves, Roy Hachimura is his real name. But the Lakers have a solid squad. And, everybody thinks the Thunder are going to come out, and I could see that happening. But if the Thunder run into LeBron or AD, I can't see the Thunder beating them. I can't see Denver. They're there. I didn't even say them. Denver might be a really good shout. Adding Russ has been amazing for them. And you still got Jokic and Porter and Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray. So, you're not really changing much. I think the West is much more competitive. If I had to take 2 teams, I'm probably taking the Lakers and I'm taking Dallas.
All right. My 2 teams are different. Oklahoma City and Memphis.
You got Memphis.
Last year, it was what it was. It was what it was. That suspension, the injury. All right, time to retool and reload. Kind of retool the roster a little bit. Sometimes teams need that. I think this team with Ja Morant can make it to the finals. I think they're due for a big run. Let's look at this roster a little bit here for Memphis. Desmond Bane is a good basketball player.
He is.
Zach Edey is a guy that plays basketball. Jaren Jackson, won Defensive Player of the Year. Scottie Pippen Jr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he lost a shit ton of weight. And Luke Kennard's a nice three-pointer. A nice white boy that could shoot. Zach Edey's going to win Rookie of the Year. I just don't like their bench, but depends on how far Ja can take them, to be honest with you.
I think they can do it.
To me, I definitely don't think a lot of teams can beat Dallas. I think when it comes to playoff time, they'll be solid. And then I just love the Lakers with LeBron. You can never count out LeBron and the Lakers. It honestly just depends on who runs into who. But I got those two. And Denver and Thunder are like right there.
What do you think of Neymar possibly going to Chicago or any other team in the MLS? Because he's been talking to multiple. Chicago's the team I've been heard. And by the way, do you know who the manager for Chicago Fire is? Greg Berhalter.
Oh, fantabulous. To me, Neymar's career has been done since he's left PSG. He's been hurt. He really hasn't really done anything for Al Hilal. So he just went there for money just to chill and give his family the best life possible. If he goes to the MLS just like Messi, he knows it's for a publicity move. He'll be making a bunch of money. He just has to make appearances, go out there, doesn't have to do anything too crazy. And he'll be fine.
Do you think that getting another big name like Neymar is going to have people kind of look at the MLS a little bit more seriously?
No, they're gonna look at it worse. To me, I think Messi going there when he did was a good move. If they would have got Ronaldo to go there, Ronaldo's still like peak. Ronaldo's taken some steps back, but he really hasn't fell off. Like the Saudi league is actually solid with a bunch of world-class players still. But to me, I just think Neymar, like I can get to a bunch of players that play in that league, but I would definitely say that if Neymar was actually like still like competing out there and still like playing a lot, not really like hurt or like didn't really care, then I feel like, okay, it'd be a good move if he went to the MLS. But everybody just knows like his career is just kind of just like done. No one really talks about him anymore. It'd be a big name coming to the league, but people in Europe kind of view the MLS as kind of like Zlatan went there when he was like old as shit and he like was dominating on LA Galaxy.
Yeah, but it also gave him a window back into
Europe. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And he had a good last few years with Milan.
No, the MLS is exciting and it's fun, and like the Crew is like, I think
good
team, like a really really good team with some good players. But I definitely think Neymar going there doesn't really shine any good light on the MLS, like coming from the outside in. Like to us, it's yay, we get to see Neymar play, and it's another big name and advertising, marketing, and money, and blah 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 blah. That's why he would be coming. But people in Europe just view the MLS still as like a retirement home type thing.
Okay. So speaking of that, the Columbus Crew are hosting Inter Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the problem. They're not playing in Columbus. This is a home game for the Crew. They're playing in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They are not selling upper deck tickets to this game while price gouging the tickets that are available. And I want a thought on this as well, but what do you think of the Crew doing this and possibly other teams essentially selling out to another city and putting the prices all the way up for the economy that is messy?
It's not even the Crew. It's just Jimmy Haslam. Because Jimmy Haslam is going to work with Cleveland, being like, hey, I own the Crew, I own the Browns. The Browns are playing here in Cleveland. They're playing Messi instead of playing in Columbus in this beautiful, gorgeous stadium that I've been to, and it's awesome. instead of playing there like normal, why don't we bring this up to Cleveland and make a big thing out of it? And he knows it's going to sell, obviously. Like, he knows it's like big bucks coming in just because of Messi and Suarez, Luis Suarez coming in and playing, and Biscuits, Sergio Biscuits, call him Biscuits. But to me, it's just Jimmy Haslam. It's not really. I think the Crew would just like to play at their own stadium, but I just think this is just a big money grab for Jimmy Haslam in the city of Cleveland. I don't like it, but
I want to go, but not if they're charging the prices.
Well, yeah, and that's the stupid thing. Is like, especially when the World Cup comes here, I'm going to be going. There are, but like, if Ronaldo's here, if Slovakia makes it, if Serbia makes it, if England makes it, or if shit, I mean, I'd love to see France or Germany play too. If some of those teams are in the World Cup, I'm going to want to go. But if they're going to do this price gouging stuff, and they're going to hold a monopoly over the price of these tickets and ram them up, then that's going to suck. I love what the Euros does. What the Euros does is, okay, you want to go sit in your fan section and kind of sit up and you want to sit here, like behind the goals-ish, $30 each ticket. Okay, you want to sit directly in the middle and have a great view. Okay, $60. This is just for the first round of games. Like, this is just for the group stage. And then it's like, okay, you want to sit behind the bench, you want to sit close, you want to sit in a club seat. Okay, that's gonna be like $90 to $120. See, that makes sense. But if you're gonna have Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and StubHub and all these ticketing websites buy up all these tickets and resell them for a jacked up price, that's not going to make anybody happy, except obviously the companies that are doing it. But if you want your stadiums to be actually truly packed, it's going to be stupid.
I don't know what I did here. I don't know why it's so. It looks like they are selling the upper deck. I don't know what I've done. What have I done? It appears they are selling the upper deck. But you're looking about $100 no matter where you're sitting.
Okay, that's not horrible.
No, and maybe it's just one end. I don't know. It's just I will be there. I haven't been to an MLS game. I've been to multiple USL games, so I've never been to an MLS game. So hopefully this will be the first.
I will not be there for that.
Well, it's going to be it'd be a good content day. So
it would be, yeah. Just like I've been at Crew games. I just don't decide to drive 2 hours down to Columbus to go watch them. If I'm down there visiting a buddy or something like that, I'd be like, hey, do you want to go to the Crew game? Sure. Mm-hmm. It's a good atmosphere.
All right, Tyler. There's only one way that we can end this.
I think I know what it is. Oh, no, never mind. It's not.
My name's on this. I signed this myself. I mean, literally signed over 30,000 now.
Thank you very much, Joseph.
Is that a disco ball? No, it's a hot air balloon.
Scene here in Pittsburgh. A capacity crowd is on hand.
That's Marv Albert.
One of the stirring moments in sports. It is a sports happening. There's pandemonium all around me.
Oh my God.
From the sky.
Is that a fish?
Yeah. Sorry for the audio audience, but right now, I forgot the audio audience. There's a fish coming from the Civic Center, the Civic Arena.
Oh my God.
And it is ascending from heaven. I I'm hooked on Pisces.
This is crazy. It's not a fish.
And that's. Do you know who that is?
Honeybook.
Do you know who that is?
How I do business.
Who is that?
I'm a photographer.
It's Dr. J.
Jesus.
You know who else is in this movie?
You said it was Dr. James.
That's Dr. J. He's the main character.
Who else? Who is the other person?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You know how many words he says?
Like 2. 0, of course. It's just a
Do you-
catch for the movie. That's. Oh
Do
my
you know
Lord.
who Norm Nixon is?
No, I don't know who that is.
He was starting point guard for the Showtime Lakers, where they won in '79.
That movie just looks so. I don't even think I would watch that. I
It's
can't.
so good. Now, mind you, the Civic Center, it actually opened up
Yeah,
in real
it
life.
actually opens up. Yeah, but it's closed down in 2010 or 2011, whatever.
Around there.
Yeah.
I've been there. Haven't seen the roof. Me and Dad were talking about it. He's like, he didn't even know that they actually ever did open the roof. He didn't know it could open, but he didn't know like they would ever open it. Isn't it insane? Like an indoor arena just opened their roof because they could.
It's crazy. No, you don't see that much anymore. I think you barely see that. I think a couple
The
stadiums
fact
could do
they
that.
even did it then.
Yeah,
That stadium was
then.
built in the early '60s.
That's like, yeah, see, like that's like that next like generational step of like, look at what we could do.
Wait, hold on. I think they had that before we went to the moon.
Bigger steps have been made.
Bill. Yep.
Before the moon landing, they opened up a stadium.
Civic Arena. I think John F. Kennedy was still president.
The moon landing, nah. Give me the Civic Center when it opened.
Civic Arena.
Civic Arena.
I've known it. I when I was alive, it was called Mellon Arena.
Mountain.
I don't know why. I don't know if there's a sponsor.
Oh my Lord. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to this great podcast and episode.
Hey,
so Dom can get off about this fish movie.
Let's go fish. Let's go fish. The Pittsburgh Pisces. I don't know what it has to do with fish. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully, we'll be back more consistently. Last week was hard with I was broadcasting a high school football game. So we'll figure it out going forward. Probably Wednesdays or Thursdays is when we'll be doing these. Or it'll jump around from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for when we're able to do it. So just stand by and stand ready. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back sometime next week. I guess we won't be posting content to TikTok anymore, Tyler.
Do
No
they actually
TikTok to
ban
post to. We have 3 days. The day before the inauguration. So
I'm so
who
glad
knows?
this thing is banned. I haven't
Why?
had TikTok since 2021, towards the end
Brother.
of 2021.
You know how much views I get off that?
Instagram Reels about to go on up.
Dude, Instagram Reels are the worst. All right.
So much better.
Goodbye, Tyler. No, they are not.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, you just get recycled TikTok content from a month ago. All right, Tyler, you have a good one.
You too.
I'll see you next week.
All right, see you, Dom.
Goodbye. See you next week. Same bat time. Probably a different bat channel. Goodbye, everybody.